Another Israeli genocide is coming. Yes, it's not over. They always take a break. So fuck Israel. That's what people around the world are saying today. Because we have to try and stop the next bloodbath now. In Europe, they have seen how their governments are compromised by Zionism. Now, any candidate in any upcoming local or national election in Western countries has to show if they care about supporting deranged Israeli serial killers or they care about their citizens. That's the only way forward. The power of the people at the ballot box. Even God has abandoned the Israelis because they abandoned him for Zionism. We have all seen the level of cruelty of all these Zionist genocide accomplices who bow to the Israeli dictatorship in their countries. Remember how these toxic criminals lied, provided cover for butchery, said the slaughter of children was justified, and refused to listen to all the millions of people around the world who were pleading in weekly protests for Israel's slaughter to be stopped. Many were literally begging their leaders to stop murdering children in vain. Who can forget the pain people felt at every toxic word that came out of these leaders' mouths to legitimize the continuation of mass murder and starvation? The people's helplessness in light of the massive inaction of all the world's governments to stop Israel's horror show. Trust me, many of these leaders will back Israel's next brutal genocide again. Yes, the greater Israel dream is still on. No Western government condemns it. And that means Israel and its genocide accomplices are just taking a break. Plus, the global Zionist tyranny overseas is planning to take away more of citizens' freedoms to silence the people from criticizing Israel's evils, Israel's madness, and Israel's perpetual lying. And the Zionist snakes hiding behind the scenes will impose even more dystopian Zionist laws and Zionist iron-fist diktats against the people in these countries as part of their effort to enforce the silence of the masses. But they forget the power of any people whose spirit is that of freedom. Therefore you, the people in Western countries particularly, today you should put everything else aside and focus exclusively on addressing the hideous Israeli Zionist threat against your freedoms and the brutal Zionist threat against your democracy by not electing anyone backed by Israel, period. That is your duty to yourself and to future generations around the world. A duty of the highest priority today. The genocide accomplices are all traitors working for Israel, not for you or your country. And young Gen Zs should know that Zionism was already condemned by the international community back in 1976 at the UN General Assembly, where the world essentially declared that Zionism is a violent, villainous, supremacist, barbaric, fascist hate ideology that preaches racism, religious hatred, ethnic cleansing, genocide, mass extermination, terrorism, and spits on Christians as they maliciously orchestrate all the terrorism and civil wars in the world today by paying locals to murder locals anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, overseas, if you want to keep enjoying the little freedoms you still have, if you want to reverse the trend set by the Zionist dictatorship on your government, then it's time to collectively say, fuck Israel, just like New York has done, and reject all those who want to get to office to serve Israel. Lastly, to all the activists who have been relentlessly fighting on the social media front lines for the last 2 years, if you want to save the world from Israel, its next genocide, its censorship onslaught, and its mass persecution of protesters in your country, you all have to take this last stand and ensure that everyone is informed about the global stakes here and let everyone play their small part in kicking out all the Zionists from public office in your governments, your parliaments, your city councils, and even your village councils. Thank you.